All right, so 2022's The Gray Man comes out on Netflix next Friday, the 22nd, and is also available in select theaters right now, which is how I watched it. And yeah, it's directed by Joe and Anthony Russo, who you might know from Captain America: The Winter Soldier, Captain America: Civil War, Avengers: Infinity War, and Avengers: Endgame. They also recently did Cherry, starring Tom Holland last year for Apple TV Plus, I think, which I wasn't a huge fan of, to be honest, but see if they turned it around with this movie. Screenplay is by Joe Russo, Christopher Marks, and Stephen McFeely, based on the book by Mark Greaney, which I believe it's actually a book series, and they have plans to turn this into a film series as well. But we'll have to wait and see what time has in store for it, if that is going to be true or not. We'll really have to wait and see in terms of, like, I don't know if you can really consider box office, but just in terms of, like, amount of people that actually watch it on Netflix, which I don't think is going to be super high, to be honest. I think the main thing that'll bring people to the movie is the cast alone, which is honestly the thing that brought me to the movie. That and the directors here. But other than that, this is kind of your typical spy action espionage film. But yeah, the cast here, we have Ryan Gosling as Six, Chris Evans as Lloyd Hansen, Ana de Armas as Danny Miranda, Billy Bob Thornton as Fitzroy. We also have Jessica Henwick as Suzanne Brewer, Alfre Woodard as Maurice Cahill. I think I'm pronouncing that first name wrong. And then Regé Jean Page, hopefully I'm saying that right, as Carmichael. And if you don't know the plot of this film, when the CIA's most skilled operative, whose true identity is known to none, accidentally uncovers dark agency secrets, a psychopathic former colleague, played by Chris Evans, puts a bounty on his head, setting off a global manhunt by international assassins. Like I said, kind of your typical action spy espionage thriller type of film. Especially from the trailers alone, it didn't wow me a whole lot. It really is just the cast that brought me to the movie. But after watching the film, I like it more than I thought I would. I was hoping to like it because of the cast, and I did enjoy it. Did I love it? Not necessarily. Is it going to end up on my top 10 best or worst of this year? No. Um, but it was fun for the most part. It had some really great action set pieces in there, some of them involving vehicles, specifically planes and trains, which both of those action set pieces were very awesome for sure. And then there was even one towards the beginning involving fireworks, which I thought was very creative. So they do a lot of creative, fun, interesting, just badass action scenes. Ryan Gosling is a certified badass in here. Chris Evans is a certified badass in here. Even though sometimes Chris Evans is just kind of behind the scenes telling people what to do, you know, he's still threatening. He's still a psychopath. So you see the threat there. But yeah, both of them are really great in this film. I will say, you know, Ana de Armas gets a decent amount to do, but aside from Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans, nobody else in the film really gets a whole lot to do. Nobody else really gets that great of writing. One of the, like, side villains in this movie is barely in it, honestly. I don't know if you can completely consider him a side villain. I do, personally. He seems like a piece of shit. But, yeah, he's barely in it, so it's mainly Ryan Gosling, Chris Evans, and then Ana de Armas. Ana de Armas teaming up with Ryan Gosling's character and having them go after Chris Evans. So, yeah, it's, I don't know, it's pretty straightforward for the most part, but something about it, it just feels bigger than just, you know, assassins going after one guy, because with Chris Evans' character, he's such a psychopath that he doesn't care what gets in his way or who he kills, as long as he gets to his target and gets the mission done. So you feel the stakes there when it comes to, like, them being in cities, having a shootout, police dying and stuff like that. You know, civilians getting maybe caught in the crossfire. They don't really show anything like that. It's a PG-13 movie, so they don't go too far with, like, the violence, which I think is a little bit of a disservice for this movie. They definitely at times kind of push that PG-13 rating, but I personally think this movie would have been better if it was rated R. They would have had a lot more fun with it if it was rated R. And I mean, I can understand why they went with PG-13. It's easily more accessible to everybody else, you know, anybody who isn't 17 or older. So I get it at that standpoint, but at the same time, like, I don't think a 13-year-old is really going to care too much for a spy espionage film. I think aside from the action, they might get a little bit bored by certain other things. But it is a fairly fast paced movie. Once it starts, it doesn't really take time to slow down a whole lot, which at times can be bad. But for the most part in this film, I think it worked for it. It is like a 2 hour and 2 minute movie or something like that. So you don't necessarily feel the runtime. Maybe I think about halfway through, I was like checking my phone just to see the time, and I'm like, oh, we still got about maybe 45 minutes to an hour. um so at times you can somewhat feel the runtime when it gets a little bit slower, but it is a fairly fast paced movie, which is something I kind of appreciate because this might be a kind of spy thriller movie, but the main thing this movie is an action movie, and it is quite action packed. There's a lot of really great action scenes, like I said before, with the planes and the trains and all that. Those scenes were very cool, especially the train one, but that plane one was really sick too. At times, a lot of this reminded me of not Top Gun. A lot of this reminded me of Mission Impossible. Maybe not a lot, but a decent amount of this reminded me of Mission Impossible, having this agency and then having a target on the protagonist's head and them trying to run but also fight at the same time. And I mean, it kind of reminds me of Tom Cruise as Ethan Hunt in Mission Impossible, especially in the later films when he kind of has a target on his head. But yeah, Ryan Gosling, badass in this film. Chris Evans, badass in this film. Ana de Armas, badass in this film, but not given quite enough to do. And then the rest of the characters just like little to nothing. But Billy Bob Thornton, I will say, had more to do than most of the other side characters. So I like him for the most part. I haven't really seen a whole lot of movies that he's been in, but I really did enjoy him in here. Um, yeah, let me look at my notes here and see what I have to say. Chris Evans at times can feel a little cartoony, with his villain and certain lines that he has, but I think it kind of works for the movie, honestly. It gives it character, it gives it personality, and makes it a little more fun. This isn't like a serious action flick where it's just like everybody is stoic and stuff like that. I mean, Ryan Gosling in a way kind of is, but he has moments of humor. But the main humor comes from Chris Evans in this movie for sure. He's a very charismatic dude. At the same time, he's a psychopath. So when he's saying funny things, you're just like, Jesus Christ, like him saying like, "Oh, I'm gonna cut your fucking head off." Like, oh, that's kind of funny, just his delivery. But at the same time, since his character is like this, you know that he's probably not lying. So it's intimidating for sure. I wouldn't want to be caught with him. I wouldn't want to work with him because I'm sure I'd probably end up dead. But yeah, he was fun in the film. Had the nice mustache. I think he was really a fun addition to this film, and I don't think I would have wanted a different actor playing this villain. Honestly, I mean, everybody sees Chris Evans as Captain America. They don't see him as a villain very often. Spoiler alert for Knives Out. Also, he was in that with Ana de Armas. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, in that he was pretty much a villain towards the end there. Spoiler alert, like I said, but yeah, I mean, we got to see him do that a little bit there, but I mean, we get to see it in the full extent here for sure. There is not an ounce of humanity in this dude. He is straight up bad. He is a psychopath, like I said before, and he does not care who or what is in his way when it comes to him completing the mission and finding his target. So whether that be civilians, buildings, cops, he doesn't give a shit what's in his way as long as he completes his mission. So yeah, I mean, a little one dimensional. They don't really give him a whole lot of backstory on why he is the way he is, but I don't know if they fully needed to, especially with an already 2 hour runtime. I mean, we got a little bit of context as to, Six's childhood, Ryan Gosling's character, and kind of how he ended up the way he is, but not really when it comes to Lloyd Hansen, Chris Evans' character. But like I said, I didn't really mind that. It didn't really bother me too much. The things that bother me most about this film are just the small inconsistencies. Like, you have Ryan Gosling's character Six, who's in one country and Ana de Armas's character in another, and she just finds out about something that's going on with him, and somehow she just gets there immediately. I'm just like, aren't they in two different countries right now? I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they were in two different countries. So her just showing up that quickly really did not make sense to me, but I was willing to let it slide, to be honest. I mean, that's the only real thing I can think of in terms of inconsistency. Some of it just being like, oh, we're here's one thing going on over here, and now we're gonna cut to this thing, and now we're gonna cut back to that thing, and then it's all taken care of, and I'm not explaining it very well. Like, let's just say there was maybe some. This isn't even actually something that happened in the movie. But let's say there's a car on fire. You get a shot of the car on fire. They they pan over or whatever. They cut to the actors talking, and then the actors walk by the thing, and then it's like, not on fire anymore. So it's like, how did that happen in that short amount of time? Who put that fire out? And it's kind of things like that that take me out of the movie just a little bit, but really don't ruin anything for me. I wouldn't say anything really ruined this movie for me. It's just the writing and the straightforward plot that just feels like it doesn't give you enough to. There's not enough meat on the bone, Like, it's straightforward. There's other things going on that kind of connect to it in a way, and things that are important to the plot that all come together, but at the same time it's just like that's not really anything too integral. There's only one thing that I found really integral to the plot that was kind of like a side thing. um Aside from Chris Evans going after Ryan Gosling and Ryan Gosling basically going after Chris Evans, there was only one other aspect involving Billy Bob Thornton's character that I found to be really integral to the plot. Other than that, the other side things that are kind of going on here just don't really necessarily matter. The whole idea of like having assassins go after somebody, I think it was personally done better in John Wick 2 and 3. Um, was that no, that was 2, I think. Or not 2. It kind of happened in 2, but mostly 3, where John Wick was being hunted by a bunch of assassins. But yeah, I mean, I think it was done a little bit better there, and like I said, like the R rating probably would have helped, and that's what John Wick has there, and makes it even more better. Maybe by the sequel, if they are planning on making a sequel, they'll decide to make it rated R, but probably not. Let's be honest. Um, yeah, did I say that? I'm pretty sure I said that this movie would have been better with a R rating, but maybe I forgot to say that. But yeah, I definitely think this movie would have been better with an R rating. Maybe not by like miles, maybe not by leagues ahead of it, but I mean, you would have been able to have a little more comedy in it. I feel like if the actors were able to like really swear and say fuck and shit like that, especially Chris Evans' character, like if he was just like fuck, then I would have been like, oh, that's hilarious. I love that. I mean, it's kind of funny when people say fuck. Let's not lie, but yeah, in these situations, like, I would be saying fuck if I got fucking slashed in the face with a knife or some shit like that, or got blown up. Yeah, I would definitely be saying fuck, amongst other things. But, yeah, and then just some of the action, like, it would have been cool to see more blood, more brutality. It would have been cool to see Ryan Gosling go off like the Punisher, basically. I think that would have been badass. Um, and then the threat of Chris Evans, like, he's threatening, he's strong, but he's also a little bit of a pussy. And that's not necessarily a word I like to use a whole lot. Sorry if that offends anybody, but he kind of is in a way. He's a little, I don't know. He can hold his own for the most part, but there are certain times in this movie where he just kind of gets his ass kicked. So, I mean, that he's human, so it's inevitable. They're both going to get their asses kicked. They both definitely do. But, I don't know. I feel like he should be a little more powerful than he is, but I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. Will I be watching this movie again? I could see myself watching it again. It wouldn't be anything I'd be rushing to watch. I probably won't end up watching it next week when it comes out on Netflix. But if they do indeed make a sequel, I would be down to rewatch it and then watch the sequel as well. Um, it's not bad, not at all. I wasn't expecting a whole lot from it from the trailer. The trailer didn't really blow me away, but I wouldn't say I was like very pleasantly surprised either. compared to Paws of Fury that I watched early on in the day, this movie is a million times better than that. But I still went into it and watched it and knew like I had to go into it being fresh with it and just, all right, I know I was watching that movie before. I need to completely forget about that and just be in the moment with this one. And I had fun with it overall. I did. Would I make it like my top 10 best of this year? Like in my top 10? Probably not. But it definitely wouldn't be in my top 10 worst. Maybe in my honorable mentions, but I don't know. It didn't blow me away, but a lot of the action I did have a lot of fun with, and I think a lot of the actors in here, like the main four, five, six, more four or five characters really stood out. Let's be honest, just four. Billy Bob, Ana de Armas, Chris Evans, Ryan Gosling. Those are the four main standouts for me. And then also Julia Butters as Claire, I thought was pretty good in the film as well. There's an interesting thing they do with her character that I quite liked. But yeah, I mean, Ryan Gosling, I think he's a really good actor. I really loved him in Drive, really love him in La La Land. Yes, I am a musical fan. I have seen The Notebook, but I haven't seen all of it, but I remember him being good in that as well. I don't think I've ever really seen anything I haven't liked that he's been in, as far as I can think of. But I really haven't watched a whole lot of movies with him. Chris Evans is definitely the one I've watched more movies from. But yeah, let me look at my notes here and see if I have anything else to say. I don't really think I do. Um, yeah, Ana de Armas was good, but slightly wasted. I kind of felt that throughout the film a little bit. Anyone who hasn't Chris Evans or Ryan Gosling is kind of wasted, to be honest. Yeah, honestly. Um, and then I said kind of a generic spy action thriller, but made better with the cast and fight slash action scenes. And then I also said the plane slash train scene I thought was really good. Slightly pushes to that PG-13 rating. Also a dope scene involving the fireworks towards the beginning. I think I covered all the bases. Yeah, not a super long review for this movie, but I would definitely love to know what you guys think. If you're one of those people that went to go see it in theaters, let me know what you thought of The Gray Man. No spoilers, please. I mean, there's nothing too huge to spoil in here, but at the same time, let's not ruin it for the people who haven't seen it yet. Yeah, let me know what you thought of the film, or if you haven't seen the film, let me know if you're planning on watching it. Let me know if I kind of deterred you towards watching it, or made you want to watch it more. I would love to know. I would love the engagement. So yeah, let me know that in the comments. Also, leave a like on the video and subscribe. And it'll probably be a little bit until my next video, most likely. Don't think there's any shows to watch next week, so it's going to be kind of light, which is kind of nice because I do need a little bit of a break, just a little bit. But I should be back next week. Nope comes out next week, so I can't freaking wait for that. I might be going to see that Where the Crawdads Sing or wherever or whatever it's called. Just to kind of have more things to talk about, as well as Miss Harris Goes to Paris. Don't know for sure if I'll be watching those two movies or if it'll just be Nope. I'm sure I'll find something else to talk about in that time as well. I've been meaning to restart watching Umbrella Academy so I can cover that, but I don't necessarily know if I want to do that anymore. Like I said, I just kind of need a break next week, so I won't be posting as much, maybe 3 videos, maybe more, depending on any news that comes out. I think we're supposed to be getting some Marvel news. I don't know if next week is San Diego Comic-Con or when that'll be, but whenever we get Marvel news, expect me to make a video about it for sure. There's a lot of leaks and stuff right now, but a lot of people are making videos on it, Double Toasted, 3C Films, so I don't think I'd be adding anything new to it, talking about it right now. Plus they're leaks, so I don't know how true they are, but yeah, that's about all I have in this video for you guys. I'm just kind of setting up what I might be doing next. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.